Good afternoon, everybody. This is 50 Years of Chess, Robert Radford, and I've got a game for you. About an hour ago, I was playing on Arena Chess, the FIDE site, and I played a game against someone who I've played many times now. In fact, I've got a game of his on 50 Years of Chess. Evgeny Zhuk. He's a Russian FIDE international master, and it was an interesting game. I thought I would show it because it was a very tactical and positional game that required a lot of attention. It was 15 minutes with a time increment added, 15 minutes each, and I'm going to show you the game. Evgeny was white and I was playing black in this game. He's a younger man than myself by about 3 years. I have shown you him, his picture and everything. I won't do that again. But he's a good player, and we've had some really good games against each other. I think I've lost to him once, maybe twice, and I think I've won about 5 or 6, and we've drawn a couple. So this game is a good one. It's really a good one to watch. So he began with e4, which he tends to do mainly, and I play Sicilian against him on this occasion. So he's going for the Mengarini opening with b4. That's what usually follows. So I've played d6. So here's b4, and I've looked at quite a few ways of how to tackle this opening. I know that we go into like the wing gambit version of the Mengarini. It could favour white, and I think he knows the line, which is why he's hoping I'll play it. But my answer to it is b6. This is so after pawn takes pawn, nothing changes really, except there's an open b file, which is nothing to be worried about. So he's played bishop b2. That hinders my development a little bit, but I played bishop to b7, attacking that unprotected e4 pawn. So he's played knight c3 to protect that pawn and to keep the power as much as possible over d5, which would mean a swap off if you push, but he won't do that. I won't do that. So I've gone knight d7 so that I can bring out both knights and then develop the other bishop afterwards. g3, so he's gone through a double fianchetto here. Knight f6, bishop g2, g6, knight on g1 to e2, bishop t7, d3, castles, castles. So, apart from moving the queen off the back rank, we've both got our pieces out, we've developed, and now it's all about having a plan and forming a strategy to gain an initiative, which should become an advantage in the end. So I played a6 just to keep his knight out of b5, rook b1. This is because of any tactics where it might mean I move the knight maybe to catch a pawn and then take his bishop afterwards. So he's stopped that before it could happen. Rook c8, b takes c, b takes c. So I do have a bishop hanging, but there's no way you can do anything about that at the moment. Knight to f4, bishop d6 to put that bishop in a safe place. He's brought the knight on c3 back to e2 so that he can have his bishop on b2 ready to swap should I move my knight on f6. So there's a lot going on with this a1 h8 diagonal. Now I've readjusted my piece a little bit and brought my rook across to b8. c4, that's quite committal. By bringing that bishop up there, is the d4 square is going to be contested, obviously, at some stage. So now I brought my knight into e5. I don't mind if he goes bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop on e5, because that means he's got a big hole in on d4 and I can take advantage of that. But he's not taking it, he's gone queen c2 just to double protect that d pawn and also to protect the bishop. Queen d7. Now if I were playing white, I would probably move that bishop at a1, move the bishop to a1 or to c1, because otherwise he might get pinned with that bishop, which could be awkward for him. So he's gone knight into c3, getting control of that d5 square. So I've stopped that with e6. He's no longer got any control there now. So he's brought the knight on f4 back to e2. And now I'm attempting to double my rooks by playing rook b7. f4. He's ignored what I'm doing and he's gone for an attack with f4. I've gone knight into g4, threatening knight e3 with a fork on e3 if he plays h3. So he's gone back with his knight to prevent that e3 fork, and he's also got his bishop open again, the line. So now I've doubled my rooks up. He's got a problem now. He can't move that bishop now, because if he moves that bishop I can go rook takes rook. Because he's also brought a knight back onto the back rank, separating the rooks, the connection of the rooks, which is not always a good thing to do. So h3, and I've gone back to h6. This is a little bit awkward, because if he goes on a pawn storm down my king side, I'll have to withdraw both knights. So he's gone knight into e3. And at this time, if you have a look on the bar on the right, I'm doing better because of the pin on the rook. Even though he's got his pawns pushed up in the centre, I'm doing okay. So I just moved my king across to f8 because I need to have two squares to move my knights back should he play g4 and then g5. So he's gone queen f1. Don't know why, but he's chose to do that anyway. Oh, because he was worried I might play bishop a4, which I was looking at, but not yet. So I've already brought one knight back now to g8, rook d1, e5. So this is good because it's making life very difficult. This bishop's now going to have to think about what he's going to do there on b2. He's played f5, which is a good strong move. So I've gone knight into e7. So both my knights now are looking a little bit more able to do something rather than where they were. Now he's played g4. They're creeping up these pawns on king side. I've got to be a bit worried here because I could get my bishop trapped in on that f6 g5, but if I do I'll just have to dig my way out somehow. So I played now bishop attacking the rook, playing bishop a4. It also means now I'm dominating the b3 square, where I can bring a rook down after the rook moves. If he doesn't play rook to d2, then I can dominate with rook down to b3, hitting that d3 pawn. And he has played rook d2, so that's good. They're not connected. It's only his queen that's covering the rook. So if that bishop has to move, then rook takes rook, queen takes rook, and then rook takes rook check. I'll get the queen for a rook. It's gone g5. So here we are. Once I move that knight and he plays f6, that shut my bishop out, but hopefully I'll be able to sort that out later. But at the moment, he's got a little bit traction on this king side. So I'll move my knight out to the rim on h5, where it's got a nice square to go to on f4. And if it means knight takes, pawn takes, then he would have to move that knight probably to d5. So it's not so bad. But that's not good. I mean, I could swap the knight for the 2 pawns, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to try and find a way of breaking out of this. So I've gone back with the bishop to h8. One thing about it is I've got a rock-solid kingside defence with those pawns in the way, if you want to look at it like that. King h2. I'm just wondering, would it be any good going knight into g4? I mean, if he goes knight to g4 and then to h6, it's not doing anything, is it? So he's probably done the right thing, stopping the knight from possibly coming into g3 if he has to move his knight on e2. So I'm challenging that knight on e2 with knight on d4 now. So things are starting to look pretty good. We're even now at this time on the bar on the right. So knight takes knight, and I retake with the e pawn because I want to get that queen to the e5 square and come in hard on his king. And that, I think, would change the game, because until now it's been so locked tight that neither of us could get each other's kings. But this is looking hopeful. He's got to move his knight first, so he goes into d5. And here's my plan, to go queen to e6. And there's no way he can stop me from checking him. No way he can stop me moving my queen into e5 now. So he's gone bishop d3 to try and lop off my knight on h5, but I'm not going to allow him to do that. Check him first, queen e5 check. Then he moved his king down to g1. And I took the pawn on g5, and here I am. I'm starting to get rid of those pawns that were locking in my bishop. Queen check. Now I'm hoping he'll play a rook to g2 so I can swap off queens and win that bishop on b2. But he's put his bishop in the way by playing bishop to g4. So that's okay. I can now take that last pawn. That puts me 2 pawns up, and my bishop's free again. And I'm also threatening knight takes bishop. I'm winning a 3rd pawn if he retakes. So he's got to do something about that, and so he's played his rook behind the bishop on g2. So I've also got a queen looking right down at me, and I've got to do something about that. So here's where I hit him with a combination now. I first play queen takes queen, and he can't, if he retakes, he retook with the rook. So I'm going to win a bishop on b2, but first of all, let's get rid of that dangerous knight on d5. He retakes, and now I take the bishop on b2, and I'm comfortably winning this. If you look on the bar on the right, there's hardly any white showing at all, just a little bit at the bottom. So all black, I'm doing well. 6.6 advantage with the black position against the white. And it's game over, basically. Yeah, rook takes rook, rook takes rook. So I'm a whole bishop up, and it's looking very, very good. And pawn. So it's gone across, rook to e1. So I can shut him out of there by just playing the bishop in on e5. There's no way through for him. There's no open files for his rook. There's nothing. He can't do much. It's gone after that pawn, that struggling pawn on a6, which I just move up 1 square. And there is now nothing at all that he can do much. I'm up to 8.7, and white is virtually gone off of that bar on the right now. It's all black, as you can see. He played rook f1. He's just hoping that he might be able to play bishop into e6. Now, f6 is the best move, but I decided I'd just move my king out, and he can't do it anyway. And that way I can play f5 instead of just f6 if I need to. And believe it or not, his bishop is stuck in my side of the board. So at that point, Evgeny resigned because he has a hopeless position. He's 9.1 down, and it's like over and over and over. So it was a comprehensive win, a good one. I felt it was a good game. It took a long time before I could find a way in to where his king is, but that is the ultimate challenge. If you want to win games, you've got to be thinking positively at winning, not just hanging on in there and drawing. And I have showed quite a few draws in the games we played, but this time there was a way. I just had to work it so I could find a way, and to get my bishop out that was trapped on h8 was very pleasing to get those 2 points. He neglected his king side to some degree. He should concentrate more on protecting his king, and he didn't. But nevertheless, he is a arena international master as myself, and he is a good player. He's Russian, and I don't know one player I've played who's Russian who's not a decent player. They really are still good players. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll give you another game as soon as possible. Bye now.